Welcome to Envision Broadcasting, the station designed to encourage, equip, and empower you for growth and success presents The Momentum Shift. A show where we get inspired, we get moving, and we get results. Every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern with your host, Eric Collier. He's the mayor of motivation and mental quicksand expert, bringing you inspiring interviews and empowering stories that will help to improve lives. If you're ready to start making the impossible possible, then you've joined the right show, because the momentum shift is what you've been looking for.
As I mentioned, there were a lot of folks that were in leadership but did not understand what it was to be a leader.
Right.
And
because I have the position, I'm a leader.
Right. That's not how it worked. And one of the things that I really found was that you had people that were in the leadership position that either one wanted the title because it gave them a certain amount of prestige or fame or whatever and everything like that, perks or whatever. And then two, people that were in the position but weren't equipped for the position of being a leader.
Yes.
You know, so I wanted to be able to talk about leadership, but I talked about leadership from 5 different perspectives. Okay. I talked about it from the family, education, government, business, and the church.
In the journey of life, every step matters, but sometimes the path is lined with challenges we can't face alone. Introducing Tabano Consulting Group, your partners in creating a brighter future for our youth. We've collaborated with dedicated educators, counselors, and therapists to provide a guiding hand to high school and middle school students. Through mentoring and social and emotional support, we empower them with the tools and skills to conquer mental barriers and pave the way for success. Because every young mind deserves to live a life of meaning, value, and purpose. Tabano Consulting Group, achieving success one student at a time. Unlock potential, foster resilience, and build a stronger future. Contact us today. In a world where shifts can either hold you back or propel you forward, we're here to explore the art and science of harnessing momentum. I'm your host, Eric Collier, and together we'll dive deep into the story, strategy, and mindset of today's guest, who has mastered the art of riding the wave of change. Now let's get this shift started.
Hello and welcome to the Momentum Shift, a show designed to help you get inspired, get moving, so that you can get action, so that you can make the impossible possible for you. I'm excited to have with me today Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr. I'm really excited about him because he's somebody who's in the community and he's helping people change their lives. He's a 3-time Amazon best-selling author. He is an entrepreneur, authorpreneur, and I'm excited to have him. I had a chance to work with him on one occasion, and I'm looking forward to this interview right now. Dr. McKenzie, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Good to be with you again and be on the show. I appreciate you inviting me and having me come and have a conversation with you, and I'm looking forward to it as well.
You know, I said it one time, but we actually met on interviewing with Tanya White, man, and I think that's what started it right there.
Yeah.
Man. We had some really good conversation right there.
Yeah.
And so real quick, I want to start off with, how do you define momentum shift and why is it important?
Well, can I take that in 2 parts? We'll take momentum and then shift.
Okay.
Because when I think of momentum shift, I think of the momentum where you're actually going one way and then you have to shift to go in another direction. It's almost like, and I know you'll get this real quick. It's almost like Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders had the had the ability to have a momentum shift when he would run on the football field. That momentum that he had would shift real quick. And if you missed him, don't worry. They used to say, "Don't worry about it. He'll be right back."
Exactly.
for those defensive linemen. So when I think of momentum shift, I think of having the ability to be able to take in the direction that you're going in, and to be able to shift and move into another direction, whether it's quickly or whether it's something like if you will, the difference between a ship and a boat. A ship takes a minute to be able to shift their momentum. As opposed to a boat, it can shift and move its momentum a lot faster. So that's what I think about when I think about momentum shift.
I love it. So have you ever experienced a moment where you really needed to shift things in your life from a negative to a positive, or even if you were at your last success and you're like, what can I do next? Have you ever been to that point?
Yeah, and I've had it in a couple in my career in corporate America. I had to have the ability to be able to shift. You know, being able to go from moving from from one job to the next, or when I transitioned from the hospitality industry into becoming an entrepreneur, there was a momentum shift there as well, because I had to go from what some of my business associate friends, and I call it too, you had to go from a 9 to 5 or employee shift mindset to an entrepreneur mindset. There's a shift that has to happen in your mind there.
I mean, that's not a 9 to 5.
I know, right?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, absolutely, it is not. Yeah, anybody that want to think that entrepreneurship is 9 to 5, I'm sorry, y'all about to get y'all feelings hurting real bad, real bad. But I think a couple of years ago, as we were going into and got full-fledged into the pandemic that we're in or coming, it's still here and it's still kind of lower, but not at its peak that it was several years ago. There had to be a shift that was done. Being a speaker, being an author, there were some things that I had to do different. Now I was privileged, and I'll say I was kind of ahead of the curve because I was already doing some of the online stuff that folks had to really shift quickly to be able to do. As opposed to me, I was already doing a lot of the hybrid stuff that folks are doing now. That I was privy to be able to be ahead of, ahead of that curve with some of my other friends that said, hey, we were already into that. So it was just a matter of, making some adjustments that we needed to make. But for the most part, like you said, shift the momentum from being able to be in person to now being, where we had to be strictly online. And then even now being in a momentum shift where we're we're coming out of the pandemic, and there has to be this readjusting, this new momentum shift going from before the pandemic, which was in person, to being during the pandemic where we did strictly online and that digital format, to now where we're back doing in person and we're doing online. So you see those three different shifts in all of that. So there's always a constant. You have to have that a constant mindset of being able to have a momentum shift, because if you're an entrepreneur, things are changing. They're always changing. So you have to have the ability to be able to adjust and be able to shift and move in a direction that you need to go if you're going to be successful, if you want to be successful.
And you just hit my next question. I was going to ask you, what do you think is the thing that stops people from being able to shift, from being able to say, hey, I know this will change my life, but they just won't make that next move to start taking action so they can get the results to find out just how good they could be?
Well, I think a couple of things have kept people. And you probably have seen this, and you know people who've gone through this. When the pandemic came, they didn't want to change. Right. They're like, I'm not. I can't do the the online stuff. That's not who we are. That's not who I am, and all of those things. They weren't willing to actually to do the shift. They weren't willing to shift and go along with the way that the world was moving. And if we look back in history, we'll see those businesses, those industries that refused to shift fell to the wayside. Right. I went to Walmart today, and I know you remember the red box.
Yes, yes, yes.
I don't see them. I was like, where the red boxes? And take you back even further, there's
Yeah.
Blockbuster's no longer here.
Right.
Hollywood Video is no longer here.
Yeah.
So there's
Gone.
this shift that has gone on
Yes.
that we have to, that we have to be willing to be able to do. Those companies weren't willing to willing to shift and take their momentum in another direction so that they could, still be around in this day and time. So I think that's the first thing. A lot of people weren't willing to shift not only their mindset but shift their businesses. They were afraid, but they weren't willing to shift. Second, I think it goes to what I was saying, where they were afraid.
Okay.
What if I do?
Yeah.
What if I do this and it doesn't work?
Right.
Or here's one too, man, that folks don't talk a lot about. What if I do it and it is successful?
Ooh.
Then I've gotta maintain that level that I've gotten to.
Right.
And not only maintain it, I've got to exceed it. So some people are even afraid of success because of what it calls them to have to be able to do. So if I shift and I use my momentum and I shift going in another direction, if I am successful, man, I got to work hard at this.
I got to be more consistent on a daily basis. I got to really operate out of my comfort zone. And I actually had to do what I said I was going to do.
Right. Yeah. So I think those are just a couple of reasons why people haven't been able to, been able to shift. And I think the third part of that is, I think that folks just, they hope this doesn't sound harsh. I think people are lazy. They don't want to. It's like, I don't feel like doing that. That's too much.
Right.
Like we were just saying, that's too much work.
Right. Yeah.
That's too much like work.
It's easy to sit on the couch. It's hard to go out there and fight against the nose and take the risk and go out there and be different from everybody else.
Right. It's easy to be mediocre. It's easy to be average.
Yeah.
I can stay here. I can, hey, I'll close the job down. I'll close my company down. I'll go to the 9 to 5, get my paycheck, and that'll be go back to get my paycheck and be at that.
Yeah, and that's seems to be an option for those who say, well, I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna take a risk, and I take a risk, but you know what? I can always go back to this. Nah, you don't want to go back to that because that wasn't where you were happy to begin with. So why not stay out here and try to figure things out, man? Yeah. So talk to me about this authorpreneur. Authorpreneurship. Now you got 3 books out there, and you that are Amazon bestsellers, and you help people publish their book. But where did this love for writing come from?
Well, it actually came from I started writing. Honestly, I started writing poetry. I wrote poetry in college, and I was just doing it just to get some things out of my mind, to be able to just get what was on my mind and on my chest off and out. And it came out in the form of poetry, and didn't think anything of it at that time. And then some years after school, I started showing it to some folks, and started showing it to some friends and things like that. And they were like, well, you should put this in a book. I was like, really? Because at the time I didn't know anything about being an author and writing books and everything like that. So I was like, okay. And I said, okay, it might be something to this. And so, I was just like, all right, Lord, went to God, because I don't like to do things without at first, looking to Him. And I was just like, I don't think I got enough answers. I didn't think that I have enough poems to put into a book. So I'm like, if you want me to do this, then, I need you to show me how to do this and what I need to do, have some more writing. So here's the thing, the more that I wrote poetry, the more I found that I had to say. Okay. So it started flowing that way. And it started off with those 2 books. And then at the time,
what were the names of them again? The poem?
The first, those 2 were The Inner Soul.
Okay.
Volume 1 and Volume 2. Those are the first two
Okay.
books of poetry. And then I was in corporate America at the time, and this was the late 1990s going into 2000s, and there were so many companies and businesses that were being run that I saw were being run into the ground.
Okay.
And I was just like, if these companies don't do something, they're gonna wind up, closing down, shutting down, going in, because everybody was talking about the Y2K and how
Right.
everything was going to end in the year 2000.
Yes.
But it wasn't because
Thank
of the
you, Prince.
Y2K, right? It wasn't because of the Y2K. It was because of the people that were in positions.
In the journey of life, every step matters, but sometimes the path is lined with challenges we can't face alone. Introducing Tabano Consulting Group, your partners in creating a brighter future for our youth. We've collaborated with dedicated educators, counselors, and therapists to provide a guiding hand to high school and middle school students. Through mentoring and social and emotional support, we empower them with the tools and skills to conquer mental barriers and pave the way for success. Because every young mind deserves to live a life of meaning, value, and purpose. Tabano Consulting Group, achieving success one student at a time. Unlock potential, foster resilience, and build a stronger future. Contact us today.
Of these corporations, and they were not running them effectively. So I was like, well, what can I do that would be able to be able to impact these companies and everything like that. Even the companies that I was working for, I was just like, I just saw so much that could be done. But sometimes when you look like us, of course, they ain't trying to hear what you got to say and don't think that you know anything and stuff like that.
Right.
So
some people believe you're not supposed to be in the room.
Right. Exactly. You ain't supposed to be in the room. You know what I'm saying? So I developed my first, and I have a 3 books that I have a total of 10 books. And the 3 books are part of my business, building the 21st century company book series. It's 3 books. The first one that I wrote was called The Customer's Not Always Right. Okay. It's a book that focuses on creating a healthy work environment, maximizing your productivity, and increasing your bottom line. Because I saw what companies weren't doing, and the 3 elements of the companies that I saw the companies that I saw were successful. They did these 3 things. They had a healthy work environment. They maximized their productivity, and as a result of that, they increased their bottom line. They were successful in it. So that was the first book that I thought would be able to assist organizations to be able to do and be able to take a look at their organization from top to bottom and be able to have the structure that they need in order to be able to be successful.
Right.
The second book I did in that was Young and Gifted, the next generation of entrepreneurship. I took 21 entrepreneurs under the age of 40 who were not in music, sports, or entertainment. And I had them talk about their backgrounds, their histories, how they became entrepreneurs, what made them want to become entrepreneurs, where they saw themselves, where they saw their industries now, and then where they saw them in the future. And I did that because I wanted us to be able to see the leverage that's created when we're in a number of industries.
Gotcha.
And then also to show that, hey, you can do more than be in music, sports, and entertainment. Yes, nothing wrong with it, but we can do more and be more. And that everyday entrepreneur that I was talking to were not the ones that people usually get highlighted or get the spotlight turned on them to show how it is to be successful, what it is to be successful. So I wanted to tell their story. And then the third book in that, the book in that was The Art of Leadership, Success Strategies for the 21st Century Leader. And I talked about leadership. As I mentioned, there were a lot of folks that were in leadership, but did not understand what it was to be a leader.
Right.
And
because I have the position, I'm a leader.
Right. That's not how it worked. And one of the things that I really found was that you had people that were in the leadership position that either one wanted the title, because
Yes.
it gave them a certain amount of prestige or fame or whatever and everything like that, perks or whatever. And then two, people that were in the position but weren't equipped for the position of being a
Gotcha.
leader.
Yes.
So I wanted to be able to talk about leadership, but I talked about leadership from 5 different perspectives. I talked
Okay.
about it from the family, education, government, business, and the church, because those are the 5 pillars of any community. So I wanted
Okay.
to have that perspective on it, and whether you are a leader in one of those positions, or whether it's all 3 of them may apply, or all 5 of them apply to you, having a clear understanding of what leadership looks like. So
Yeah.
did those, and that was a way for me to be able to begin to be able to, to be able to start helping, assisting individuals and assisting organizations, and being able to understand that. And then I wrote
Mhm.
several other books. I wrote a book for men, and I know you appreciate this: the Power of a Man, Faith,
Yeah.
Family, Finance, and Future.
Right.
Um, that's a book for men, but also women too, to be able to understand us as men, but understanding the power that we have as men,
Right.
and
So
being
look.
able to
So
walk in that.
okay, I like that. I think that's the
Mm.
book you were talking about when we met with Tanya White.
Yeah.
I think
Yep.
so. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
let's talk about this. So part of shifting momentum is
Hmm.
to go from being stuck in a life where you feel constricted, you're looking for something more, you're not happy. And
Hmm.
now you writing these books, talk about the freedom and the uplifting spirit or was there an uplifting spiritual move that took place while you're doing these things, knowing that you're now operating for something bigger than just you?
Yeah, man. It was mind shifting and momentum shifting, because I now went from being, just being a 9 to 5 working in corporate America, to saying, okay, this is something that is real, and I'm able to take that and build from it. Because as I started to move into, being the entrepreneur, I got more people asking me, well, I got a book inside me, how do I go about doing that? What
Right.
do I do? So I started to think, okay, this is a way for me to be able to serve people, and be able
Okay.
to show them, so that they don't have to bump their head against the wall like I did with a lot of things, you know,
Yes.
and giving them the tools that I didn't necessarily have when I first began, giving them the tools and the knowledge and the resources that they need in order to be able to be successful. So that's what helped me to be able to say, wow, I really think that I have something here, and I can have an impact
Right.
in people's lives, who want to impact other people's lives,
Yeah.
because they want to write a book and be able to impact people's lives as well too. So I
Right.
wanted to be able to, be able to say, how can I assist you in being able to do that? I can't call myself the impact builder and not not be with someone who wants to impact other people. So
Yeah. I think that was a big thing when you go back to what the COVID shutdown
um,
did for everybody. I think that was a big thing for me as well. I had to look at how am I going to help people. I had to
mhm,
find a way to get out of my living room, right?
mhm.
I can't help anybody in my living room. So I think that's a big part of the shift. And so you doing that, you're now able to reach a larger audience. And I
Yeah.
think that's great. So let me ask you this. I'm a big believer because I go back to my story. 2004, 1999, I found out I was lost, didn't have a clue what was going on with me being lost and self-help and how I could shift my own momentum. 2004, I knew
Mhm,
exactly what I wanted to do, but I still didn't believe in myself. There was that disbelief in my
mhm,
abilities and capability. And so 2009 had an opportunity staring me right in the face of what I wanted to do and who I wanted to work with. I said no. Took me till 2000 and 16, 17 to this 15, 16, around that time frame to decide that I was going to actually go for it. I started doing it on a small scale. And then when
mhm,
COVID hit, the shutdown hit, boom, I started working with Les Brown, somebody I always wanted to work with back in
mhm.
2004, right? So talk to me about when was it you knew that you wanted to shift your life by going into being an author, an entrepreneur. When was it at that, and how long did it take you to actually do it? right? So sometimes we know what we need to do to change our life, but it doesn't take us until some big movement or just years later to really get it started. And I always talk about dialing my dream back for other people, not feeling comfortable, the excuses that I lived in with the no money, no time, those things. Talk to me about how long you may have lived in that before you actually started.
No, it actually, for me, I guess when I realized that this was something that I could really, really do on a mass level, was when when I got my book, the Customer's Not Always Right, in my hand.
Okay.
And I'm sitting there, bro, and I opened the box. And I had to take a moment. I'm gonna be very transparent. I sat there and I cried for a minute. I was just like,
Okay.
wow,
Yeah.
I did this. Is something that I did.
Right.
And when I had that moment, it was like I did something that I set out to do. I'd accomplished it, and this was something that was going to outlive me.
Okay. I like that.
And then even as I started to speak more, and I started to talk with more people, there's no greater feeling than to have someone tell you that they've read something that you've written, and that it's impacted their lives in such a way that they now had the the mindset shift, the momentum shift to move in their lives. And that's one of the things that I tell, my clients. I said, what you're doing, especially those that are writing their story.
Okay.
I said, your story isn't for you. I said, it's for those that think that they're the only ones going through what it is that they're going through.
Right.
I said, because in you, they see what is possible. They see that, hey, this person can actually do this. And as a result of seeing you, you give them permission to do what it is that they have to do. So I saw myself doing that same thing.
Okay.
So it's a way for me to be able to say, wow, with me putting, me being able to talk and to be able to do the things that I do because of me writing the books, I now have the ability to be able to give people, when they see me, say, wow, I want to do that. I want to write a book. But now I was kind of a little scared to do it, or I was scared to do it. But now that I see how he wasn't, how he moved past the fear that he might have had, I can do the same thing.
Yeah.
I got to do the same. And then all of that goes, it comes from inside. It's internally.
Yeah.
That's where the momentum is. It's in your mind.
There it is.
That's
right.
That's where the shift actually really takes place, is in your mind, man.
Yeah, I love that. And I always talk about that there being a big connection within you, a big driver to make it happen. So what's the big driver, your why, that makes it happen?
I love that. And I've told people this recently. I wake up every morning wanting to, for myself, be 1% better than I was yesterday.
Okay.
And then not just me being 1% better, asking myself, how can I make those that I have an encounter with 1% better that day as well? And it comes from a book that I read called The Slight Edge. And the author talked about being 1% better each and every day for a year. That if you take just 1% better, just 1%, just do something different, accomplish something different that you didn't do yesterday. He said over a year's time, you're 365% better than you were at the beginning of the year. So I always say, my goal, my purpose, my mission, my purpose is to make you better by the end of the year than you were at the beginning of the year. And doing those things throughout the year, like being on this show with you, hopefully something that we say, something that we talk about, something in this conversation makes somebody just 1% better than they were yesterday because of our conversation.
I like that, man. I like that because it's a mind game. You have to get your mind on a different path to stop thinking of the old way, right?
Yeah.
The old path that you were on, where you were believing or you bought into an old system that's no longer working right now. You got to shift momentum. And so it's very important. So talk to me a little bit about, you just shared a little bit about your self-talk. How can I get better 1% each day, right? What else does your self-talk look like? Because that's part of shifting momentum. That's part of keeping you going. What does it look like for you?
Well, honestly, for this year, what I did was what I've done has been purposeful in being able to instill principles in my life
Okay.
throughout for this year, because my mentor talked about, his name is Dr. Will Moreland, just phenomenal dude. But he talked about during the pandemic, he was like, when everything was going on, he said the foundational things that did not change are your principles. If your principles don't change, you can handle the ups and downs of anything.
Gotcha.
You can take the roller coaster. The principles stay if you stick to your principles. Stick to the principles that you have. So I started thinking, okay, what are the principles that I want to be able to use throughout the year that apply to me, that apply to my brand, that apply to my business? And I've done that. And I usually go live each day, Monday through Friday, in the morning. And what I've done is just talked about different principles, whatever those principles are that I think about, that I want to talk about, that I give to people, that I give to entrepreneurs, that I give to leaders, so that we have those foundational pieces that we need in order to be able to be successful. So no matter if it's your personal life, professional life, the principles, if you apply them to those aspects of your life, you can handle the momentum shifts, you can handle the roller coaster that we're on, or that we go on, and everything like that.
Got you, man. Yeah, that's great right there. And I want the audience to really pay attention to this. I want the reason I created this show is simply to help people figure things out, because you don't know where to start sometimes, and because you don't know where to start, you don't get started, right? And so it's really encouraging. What information or what guidance would you have for those individuals who are just feeling stuck, feeling like their life's not going to change, but they have this thing in their heart that they want to do? All right. And they feel like they don't have the resources, they don't have the knowledge. What would be the encouragement that you would give to them?
Well, the first thing I would say is that it begins with the mindset.
Yeah.
You know, they tell the person, if you have the mindset that that the glass is half full, it's half full.
Right.
If the glass is half empty, it's half empty. It's all in how you're looking at it. And when mindset, the mind will follow anything your mind will go anywhere that you direct it. And what that means is, if you have the negative thoughts, that's where your mind is going to go. That's where your mind is going to stay. You'll encounter negative things. If your mind is in a positive motion, positive momentum, then you'll find yourself figuring things out. You'll find yourself moving in that positive direction. It all begins with the mindset. So I would add, the first question I would ask you is, where's your mindset? Do you believe in you? If you say you believe in you and believe in what it is that you want to accomplish, what are you willing to do in order to be able to accomplish those things? The first step is to say, okay, what is it that you want to do? Whether it's business or whether it's personal. What are your I call them assignments. I don't call them goals.
There we go. All right.
What are your assignments? Okay, if your assignment is to start a business, then what do you need in order to be able to start a business? Do you need a business plan? Do you need to research your industry? Do you need to have some money set aside?
Right.
You think about those things. On the personal side, if you want to shift your relationship, okay, what does the relationship look like?
Yeah.
And then what do you want the relationship to be when at the end of the day? So you have the beginning and the end in mind, your bookends.
Right.
You got to know where you're going. It's almost like a GPS system. What is a GPS system asks you what? Where you are,
right,
and where you're going.
Where you going?
Those two things. So ask yourself to begin, where am I? And you got to be real with that. A lot of people don't want to be truthful with where
Honest
they are.
discussions. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to have that real gut wrenching. Yeah, I might not like the answers to these questions, but you got to sit with it,
Yeah,
and then
because
you
you
got to
only
say,
lying to
where
yourself.
right?
Yeah.
You
You only
can't.
lying to yourself. You holding yourself back. We can be our worst enemies.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and then decide knowing where it is that you need to go, and then what are those steps? What are those? What's the strategy and plan that I need to put in place in order to be able to get there? And take it step by step. You can't eat a whole elephant all at one time. You eat
Right.
an elephant piece by piece. So
There
that's
you
what
go.
you do. You eat it piece by piece. You do it level by level. And each time that you accomplish something, okay, what's the next thing? What's the next level? And the next
There
level
we go.
and the next level until you get ultimately where you are. And then once you get there, it's not being content with being there. Okay, what's the next thing
There it is.
that I
There
have
it
to that I
is.
have to accomplish? So
Yeah.
that's what I would tell someone that feels as if they're stuck and that they're trying to get the momentum
Yeah.
in order to be able to start to move. Just take it one step at a time.
Yeah. And oftentimes that's why you're stuck, is because they look at it as though it is a big elephant and it's too much to eat at one time. So I'm overwhelmed and I can't move forward. And then you touched on that big question. What's next? People hit that goal that they set for themselves as not necessarily their assignment, right? And we'll talk about that in a second, but they hit that goal that they say is their big lifetime goal, and they stop asking what's next. I'm just going to ride it out till I'm 64 from here. Yeah. So that's part of being stuck as well, right? That mindset of what's next. Got to ask that question all the time, every time you hit that assignment or that goal. And then, bite by bite on that elephant. You can't eat an elephant one bite one big bite at one shot, right? So talk to me about, you mentioned it, and this is the first time I've ever heard it mentioned like this. So you said goal you look at as an assignment. Talk to me about the difference in the two.
Well, I look at it like this. You know how every year people start off with New Year's resolutions, right? They say,
Yes.
"Oh, I want to do this. My goal is to, lose 50 pounds, right? My goal is to lose 50 pounds." Well, if you, the goal, it may be a goal. I think that to me, the difference between a goal and an assignment is what you apply to it. An assignment, when I look at it, I thought it in terms of when I was in school. Your teacher gives you an assignment. They'll tell you what you need to do, and they may even give you a direction on how to achieve it. And it's a mindset thing. But what we go back to, it's all about
everything
how you look
starts
at
there.
If I see it as an assignment, oh, this is something that I have to do a goal. Okay, yeah, if I achieve it, I achieve it. If I don't, I don't. But the assignment, if I want to be who it is and what it is that I'm trying to achieve, I've got to do certain things. I've got to see it as being purposeful. Versus, it's just, okay, if I achieve it, I achieve it. If I don't, I don't. The assignment I attach to it, hey, I got to do this, And I'll give you just a quick example. About a year ago now, one of my business associates, she's a fitness trainer. She put out this challenge. She wanted those of us in her community to walk for 30 minutes. 30 minutes a day. That's all she wanted. She wanted to get everybody moving. She wanted to get that momentum going.
There you go.
I was like, cool. I was like, okay. And I've been wanting to get back into walking, just doing, So I was like, all right. I was like, I know where I live at. I can walk up and walk back to the library that's near me. It's a half hour up and a half hour back. 30 minutes up, 30 minutes back. So I was like, all right. I was like, cool. I can do that. I was like, cool. I've done it before. Cool. Started doing that daily. And it got to the point where it's not a goal. It's an assignment, because I know I've got to get up every single morning, 8:00, walking out that door in order to be able to get my walk in, to be able to get my exercise, because I want to be healthy. I want to be able to make sure that I'm doing those things to keep this body as long as I can keep it. So
there it is.
And here's the result of the momentum and me moving forward. And this was probably earlier this year, maybe towards the end of last year. Stepped on a scale. My goal weight, I wanted to lose 15 pounds.
All right.
I lost that 15 pounds when I stepped on the scale. All because I was doing that daily walking and doing my exercise, which I do, which is crunches and push-ups and crunches and push-ups. I do those three things: walk, crunches, and push-ups. In addition to eating right too,
Right.
And as she tell me, drink more water. So, but doing those things but the walking gave me the momentum.
Okay.
It gave me the momentum to shift me from, hey, Leroy, you got it. You need to get out there and start walking to now where I hold myself accountable for getting up and going to walk. Right. That's the difference the difference between a goal and an assignment.
So you needed her to come out there and inspire you. You had to get out and get the move and get the results going, get the results that you need. I love that, man. I love it. It's so true though. Sometimes it's in the habits and behaviors. We're here. We're under construction for life, so we're always learning. And if we don't know the answers, somebody's there to teach us. So, talk to me a little bit about: do you have a coach, and why it's so been important to your life to have coaches in the different pillars of your life?
Well, I think it's important, and I think we all should have someone in our life that has been where we're trying to get to. And I do a couple of different things. One, I have, like I mentioned, Dr. Will Moreland, who I listen to vividly. I've been a part of his program that he has and everything like that. So I get that, but also I'm an avid listener on YouTube. Les Brown, Eric Thomas. All of those that have Les Brown,
I know.
I can't say any of that without mentioning Mr. Les Brown. And even though they're not physically in my life, they are a presence in my life. And I listen to them and I learn because they have so much information out there.
Yeah,
they have so much that we learn from. Even the books that I've read, I've been purposeful in the books that I read because my assignment is to read 35 books this year.
Okay.
So those books and the books that I read have to do with the things that I'm trying to achieve or things that I need to learn that make me a better entrepreneur, that make me a better authorpreneur, that make me a better speaker, that make me a better leader. All of those things. So I consider all of that being a part of being leaders. I mean, you get the number of books that I read. Every single one of those authors is part of my coaches. My coaches that I have.
Exactly, right.
They all teach me something. So
you got to have a place to turn to for the knowledge, and then you take it, you fix it according to whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, and you start going to work out there, and then hey, boom, it happens for you. But it don't happen if you sit on the couch talking about what you want to do, what you're gonna do.
Not at all. Not at all, bro. Not at all.
So tell me a little bit. What do you have next coming up for you?
Well, I'm excited about this, man, and I don't know if you can see it. I'm gonna stand up. Can you see my shirt?
I am a Christian business owner, Kenya. Wow.
Kenya. I'm getting ready to go to Kenya the end of the month.
Congratulations.
It's about nine of us that are going to Christian business owners. The summit, which is usually which has been for the past 9 years, I think she's in now. Bernice Loman, who was the creator of it. It's been in Savannah, Georgia. And this year she's having it in Kihachi, Kenya.
All right.
And when I tell you that the folks over there are hungry for the knowledge, because we're going over there and we're going to be talking about entrepreneurship. We're going to be talking about book publishing. We're going to be talking about technology, all of these things that we're going to be taking over there to go as presenters and speaking to them over there, man, about these things. So I got that coming up immediately.
That's awesome, man. Congrats.
At the end of the month. So and this is my first time. This is my first time going out of the country. So to have it be the motherland is
and that's another reason you need to shift momentum, because it can take you places you never thought you'd be able to accomplish or be in.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have that coming up, and then in October, I have I'm a part of the I'm going to be a panel host for the global network with the Dr. Joan Henry. It's a global entrepreneur network that she has.
Okay.
It's a conference that she has, summit that she has next month. I'm going to be I'm a sponsor for, and on the I'll be one of the panel hosts. I'll be one of the panelist hosts for that. So those are just a couple of things that I have coming up right in the next couple of months, and then I'm gonna say shut it down, but we're getting into the Christmas mode and being able to kind of close out the year strong with all of those good things that come along with that. So.
Got you. And where can they find you? Where can people connect with you? Where can the audience find Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr., the entrepreneur, 3-time Amazon bestseller?
Well, I'm on the social media networks, and I'll give you the link tree, because that'll probably be one place that you can go get the Facebook, because I'm on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, my YouTube channel, and then LinkedIn, all of those. But they can go to http //link linktr.ee/JNF Enterprises. They can go there. They'll be able to access all of the different platforms that I have as well. So they can go there, or they can go to them individually, but they can get to everything a lot faster when they go there. The link tree.
Oh, cool. And so what would be, final thought, what would it be, what the message that you would leave the audience today to get them inspired so they can go out there and get moving and start working on the shift for the momentum shift for their lives?
Absolutely. You have everything that you need inside of you to accomplish what it is that you want to achieve. You just have to access it. And it all begins right here. It starts with your mindset. Everything starts with the mindset. Be consistent, be persistent, be disciplined in what you do. And I promise you, as my pastor said, you can go to the bank and root 3 people with that. Be consistent, be persistent, and be disciplined. Yeah. And it's the roadmap to any momentum shift. Be consistent with it, be persistent with it, be disciplined with it. It'll take you anywhere you need to get to.
Yeah, I love that, man. Dr. Leroy McKenzie Jr., thank you, sir. I appreciate your time. And I appreciate, man, it's always great to see the big smile on your face, man. It's always welcoming and inviting. And I love seeing when you do what you do and how you're helping the community. And I'm looking forward to working with you again with my students. We're gonna make that happen, because, man,
yes, sir.
That was awesome at that summit last year. So with that,
we do. Definitely. Yeah, we definitely will, and definitely got to do that because they need us, bro. So, and I appreciate everything that you're doing and the impact that you're having with the next generation, man. That is totally awesome. So yeah, I'm definitely with it.
Thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, that's it for the Momentum Shift, where we get inspired, get moving, and get results. Like I said, I don't want you to just be a listener. I don't want you to come on here and just hear what these great individuals like Dr. Leroy McKenzie have to say. I want you to take and write notes and go out there and just apply them, because knowledge is only power when you apply it and you see exactly what you will do. Get yourself in the arena, and that's how you're going to shift momentum. Take care.
In the journey of life, every step matters, but sometimes the path is lined with challenges we can't face alone. Introducing Tabano Consulting Group, your partners in creating a brighter future for our youth. We've collaborated with dedicated educators, counselors, and therapists to provide a guiding hand to high school and middle school students. Through mentoring and social and emotional support, we empower them with the tools and skills to conquer mental barriers and pave the way for success. Because every young mind deserves to live a life of meaning, value, and purpose. Tabano Consulting Group, achieving success one student at a time. Unlock potential, foster resilience, and build a stronger future. Contact us today.
Thank you for joining The Momentum Shift, a show bringing you interviews and stories of incredible people to help you get inspired, get moving, and get results to ultimately create the life-changing momentum shift that will improve your life. Join host Eric Collier, the mayor of motivation and mental quicksand expert, every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern for The Momentum Shift, the show and change you've been looking for.